the other big mistake that people make is giving long-term attribution to short-term problems, right? People like to think that success looks like this, when success really looks like this, right? It's this like upward spiral, right? And when you're in this upward spiral, like you might start down here, and then you take a leap up, right? And then you take another leap up. But the moment that you're here in this down cycle, before you come back up, it feels like you're there and you've always been there and you're never going to get out of that thing. But if you take a step back and you gain the perspective and you see that you're in this upward spiral and you see that, yeah, you might be going down, but you were here a year ago or 6 months ago or 3 months ago, and now you might be this, trending down, but you're still up here, right? That's a major, major unlock. When you find yourself in that moment, and you will, right? There's no chance that you can be an entrepreneur without getting kicked in the pants a couple of times. And moments where it gets desperate. And moments where you're just like, what am I doing? I can go get a job. Right? At that moment, you need to understand that it's just short-term momentum. And life is a game of short-term momentum. So when you're here, it's going to feel like you're down here. But if you can gain some perspective and look, you see that you're up here. And you know that all that's going to happen is you're just going to slingshot back up at a certain point. You gotta recognize that. You gotta look for those patterns in your life and understand and look back at times where you thought that you were just eating shit, and then all of a sudden something happened and things got way better, and now you're higher up, right? You have to understand that stuff. You gotta get that perspective. And to me, it's that distance piece, and then just recognizing that pattern recognition. And finally, the human being is the quintessential social animal. Right? We did not get to the top of the food chain because we have the biggest teeth, because we're the strongest, because we're the fastest. None of that stuff, right? We got to the top of the food chain because at a certain point, a caveman looked at another caveman and said, man, if we talk right, we can go take down a woolly mammoth and we can get out of this cave, right? We settled into cities and Romans built aqueducts, and it wasn't there wasn't one Roman guy that built an aqueduct, right? It was just a bunch of Romans got together, dude, if we can figure out sanitation, then we can all cluster together and we can work together more often, right? We got to the moon, not because one dude built a ship and got to the moon. We got to the moon because they put 3 studs along with a bunch of nerdy engineers and a bunch of communications people and the whole political program, and the whole country got behind it, and we put one dude on the moon. And what I'm trying to say here is that anything great that you're going to accomplish, right? And you're not in this room if you're not trying to do something great, right? You're taking time out of your day. It's Friday night. You could be out you could be out grabbing dinner, you could be out grabbing drinks, whatever. You're here to improve yourself, right? So you're trying to be great. Anything that you're going to do that's great, it's going to require other people. It's going to require your ability to communicate, get your point across, understand what each person, right? Understand what each person's book is about, and then put that to use, right? Understand the value that each person has to bring, explain that value to the others so that they know how to utilize it, and then you communicate your vision of what you're trying to accomplish. So whatever you're trying to do, work on your social skills, work on your ability to communicate, understand that it's on you to get other people to understand you, and the only way you're going to do that is through repetition and through practice and through trying. And when it gets down, give and help others, and know that if you're in this down cycle that it's going to come back up. But always, always, always value relationships first, because that is what's going to get you there.